Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So Game of Thrones just left us this early Christmas present. It's a teaser for Game of Thrones Season 6. It's like the first teaser poster image. So what does this mean? So I'm just going to say broad spoiler warning for everything through Season 5 on Game of Thrones. And there actually is a new round of the giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. It's just a $20 Amazon gift card. So here we go. What's going on here is HBO isn't saying that Jon Snow is alive. They're definitely telling the truth when they say dead is dead. I can't remember which executive said it. I think it was the president of HBO at the TCAs this year, where of course he got the question, is Jon Snow coming back? Is Kit Harington coming back to the show? And he said, all I know is dead is dead. So what does that mean? That just means that Jon Snow did in fact die during that For the Watch scene at the end of Season 5. But it's what happens after he dies that HBO was not talking about. So you can poke fun at the Game of Thrones or the HBO people as much as you want, but technically they weren't lying. And of course there has been Kit Harington hair watch. If you don't know what that is, it's just, people judging the status of Jon Snow based on Kit Harington's hair. Kit Harington said that when he signed on for Season 1 of Game of Thrones, he was not allowed to ever cut his hair. He had to keep it Jon Snow length. So of course, when he was killed off, hair watch began. Like the minute he cut his hair, that would have been confirmation that he's not coming back to the show. Because if you're not going to wear a wig, then it takes a long time to grow hair back. But if you've been watching Game of Thrones the last couple of seasons, even if you haven't read the books, you know that when a new season starts, it usually picks up in the moments after the previous season finale. So of course we see Jon Snow get stabbed by all of his brothers at the Night's Watch. It stands to reason that he would have to come back for at least a couple moments at the beginning of Season 6 so that they could address what happens to his body. Do they burn it? Do the wildlings take it? Does Melisandre take it? Does someone else take it? So even if you took the show at face value and you thought that Jon Snow was dead, Kit Harington, the actor, would have to come back to address what happens after his death. But here's my big question for you guys, book readers and show watchers. Did you either read this moment with Jon Snow at the end of Dance with Dragons or see it on the TV show and take it at face value? Did you assume that he was dead and not coming back? And if so, why did you think that he was not coming back at all? I feel like what ended up happening is we all had this shared moment when we saw it on the show. Even if you read the books and you knew it was coming, you still kind of share this moment with everyone in the world where you're like, oh my God, what are they, what are we going to do now? How are they going to bring him back? Because we haven't had Winds of Winter yet. So even if you've read the books, you don't know what's going to happen to him. In moments of crisis like that, usually your brain goes into survival mode and you start trying to find a way out of the situation. So it's like, wait a minute, how could he survive this? Maybe they're lying to us. Maybe he will wake up at the beginning of Season 6. But they started doing interviews, and even at Comic-Con, the person who directed the episode was like, yeah, we played it like he was dead. We are definitely sure that Jon Snow died. So you really have to start looking at the clues outside of the show. And that's really where you take the experience to the nth degree. Like the way I typically experience the TV shows and the movies and the things that I really enjoy, as if it's this giant continuum where the story unfolds based on new information every day. So like I'll hear things about a show or a story that will change the way that I thought about it before. So it kind of unfolds in real time. Like you don't wait for the next season of the show to start. Like that's the literal text, then you have the subtext where you pull out meaning from cryptic clues. Then there's the stuff that you see from the set, the things that the actors say in interviews. But even if you don't read all that stuff, there's still a lot of foreshadowing in the books for what Jon Snow's fate is going to be. I did do a video all about resurrection in A Song of Ice and Fire, so I'll put a link in the description. But less to say, the show has held back on some big resurrections, like some notable characters that it hasn't done, probably in service of this Jon Snow twist, just so that it seems like a bigger deal. So if you wonder why there hasn't been Lady Stoneheart, it's probably just in the name of simplicity, just so they don't have to deal with all these extra scenes, and so this big Jon Snow twist is a much bigger deal. But the funny thing is they kind of already tipped their hat with Beric Dondarrion. The Lord of Light brought him back 6 times. 6 times! So when you think about how laughably fast Melisandre made it from that area near Winterfell up to the wall, like she made it in less than a day, why would the producers bend time and space for her in such a hilarious way if her presence near Jon Snow's death weren't an important thing? I haven't spoken a lot about it, but Westeros is actually a really big place. They compress time on the show when characters are traveling from place to place just to speed the narrative along. It would have taken Melisandre almost a week to make it back to the wall, but she did it within the span of a day, and I don't think that she used blood magic to make her horse run faster. But the real question now is, how is Jon Snow coming back? I mean, is Melisandre going to go lay hands on him? Is he just going to wake up on his own? I do think her presence is required. Even if Jon Snow is going to be a tool of the Red God or receive his boon, then I think a Red Priest is necessary. But here's another big question for you guys. After you saw Jon Snow get stabbed, what was your rationale for how he would come back? Like, did you think he would warg into Ghost? Did you think that the White Walkers would co-opt him? I felt like of all the least likely things to happen, that would have been a lot of fun. But I do think in the grand scheme of things, Jon Snow will be a character to fight for good, regardless of what ends up happening to him in the end. Sometimes when you're theory crafting, I feel like it helps if you combine show things and book things. Like, you can't take just the books because there's so much extra stuff that could lead you in different directions. The TV show is much more linear. It cuts out a lot of the extra stuff. So if you combine clues from the books and from the show, you think about R plus L equals J. There's a little bit of confirmation for that in some of the things that Littlefinger said this season, as well as stuff we've seen from the set, or at least Tower of Joy things. I wouldn't say it's confirmation of R plus L equals J, even though I still believe that. But let us all get hype. And no, I'm not expecting any big trailer or anything like that for Season 6, at least till February next year. That's around when the Season 5 trailer posted. And if you guys didn't know, Game of Thrones Season 6 won't premiere till much later in April. What's happening is they're starting a show called Vinyl. It's going to push into the beginning of April, so it's bumping Game of Thrones by just a little bit. So I'm not expecting Season 6 to premiere till like the 3rd week in April, which is just like a couple weeks later than it normally airs. It just means the finale might spill into July. And for those of you asking about the Winds of Winter, I do think that George R. R. Martin is going to finish Winds of Winter sometime before Season 6 premieres, but there hasn't been any official confirmation. Like, I tweeted this picture, but this was just a fan picture. This isn't official. If it does come out before Season 6 starts, it's actually going to be really hard to try and work that into my TV show videos without doing crazy spoilers. So we will talk about Winds of Winter things next year, but I'll just have to figure out how to deal with spoilers. Because a lot of TV shows are on break this week, I'll probably have time for a Game of Thrones Q&A, so post all your questions in the comments, and if you guys haven't been watching it, Jessica Jones is awesome. I'm going to be posting my next Jessica Jones video pretty soon. There is like a Star Wars special that's happening tonight. If there's anything cool that comes out of that, I'll totally do a video for it too. Whole bunch of Game of Thrones, whole bunch of Star Wars, whole bunch of Marvel stuff happening this week. While you guys wait for everything to post, you can click here to learn all about Resurrection on Game of Thrones and all my other Season 6 bonus videos, and you can click here for all my Jessica Jones videos. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.